everyone. My name is Krishna Kumar Singh. I am from Elites Technomedia. We're waiting for one more panelist to join in, and then we'll start the session.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Audible?
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good
Are we
evening.
audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Audible.
Good evening once again, ma'am. That session topic that we are having on the role of EdTech in the virtual education environment. And for the same, we are having panelist Dr. Kavita C. Das, Principal, St. John's High School, Chandigarh. Welcome, ma'am. Dr. Sandeepa Sood, Principal, Saffron Public School, Fawada. Welcome. Sumit Puri, Director, Jagat Jyoti High School, Amritsar.
Good evening. Good evening.
And Kiran Dalal, ma'am, Principal, Bright Scholar, Senior Secondary School, Soni. So, two more panelists are about to join in. Till then, we can start the session. I request each panelist to introduce yourself one by one, and then we'll go with the panel discussions. So, we start with Sandeepa, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening. Myself, Dr. Sandeepa Sood. I'm founder principal of Saffron Public School, Fawada. I've been part of that organization from the past 20 years. So today here we are again for the discussion how this EdTech especially is helping us out in this like pandemic. So.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Over to you, Kavita, ma'am. Can you please introduce yourself?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kavita Das, and I'm the principal of a school in Chandigarh. It's an all-boys school, and it's called St. John's High School. So I've been in the teaching profession for about 30 years now, and I think it's the finest profession to be in.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Kiran, ma'am, can you please introduce yourself?
Good evening, everyone. This is Kiran Dalal. I'm principal for a senior secondary school in Sonipat, Haryana. And I've been teaching and heading the schools in various capacities last 20 years. And it's a wonderful thing. And thank you, Dr. Ravi Gupta, for giving us this opportunity to interact with all intellectuals. It's going to be a great session. As technology, we are going to discuss, and that's the thing which is required nowadays. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Sumit sir, can you please introduce yourself?
Good evening, everyone. I'm the youngest, I think. I'm the youngest of all. And I think I learn a lot from you people. I seeking your blessings and introduce myself. I'm Sumit Puri. And we have chain of schools in Amritsar, city of Golden Temple, by the name of Jagat Jyoti School. So I hope today's session will be a more powering for me or more learning for me. And all the best for the panelists.
One more panelist had joined just now, Vinita Rajput, Principal, the Vinilium Public School, Patiala. Vinita ma'am. Vinita ma'am. Okay, we can take it later on. So that the process of that panel that we can have it, I'll start with the key discussion point, and I would like to have a view of each and every panelist on that topic. Shall we? So my first question will be to Sandeepa ma'am. What is the major role of education technology in virtual education in the current situation?
If we talk about education, if we look back, like I start from that the way used to see Ki Ravindranath Tagore times, children used to go to those pathshalas, they used to learn, and with the pace of the time, the technology has grown up. Fortunately, we are lucky enough that we are seeing this word of transition. If I talk about myself, I am the one who have learned this technology at the age of 35, right? So it was not very easy for me. If someone used to tell me, "Yo, we are sending you email," so I used to feel frightened. Email, but within the pace of the time, we have grown up, we have adopted technology, and somehow technology is bringing lot of, you can say, changes, wonders. When we are teaching, the teachers are becoming more powerful. The technology is taking care of the stake of the teaching. Means so many things, so many sides. Means the child is totally, you can say, the child is having a power in his hand. So main is we have to direct. If we talk about in this quarantine times, in this Corona-19, if the technology would have not been there, we can well imagine the plight of the country or the world, the way the challenging. So I personally believe technology should be the part of our virtual classroom as well as, but we can't omit traditional teaching also, because somehow the paper pen is really required. Unless governments come forward, they make some necessary changes just to evolve. There will be no need of written examination only then. But technology, trust me, is bringing wonders. And in our school, we tried. We started our online classes by first week of April. And with this Google, with this Microsoft, with the Zoom app, the teaching was going on. So that is the happiest quotient of a principal. So I feel very blessed to see that thing is happening in my school. Yes, thank you.
Kavita ma'am, your views?
I don't think any school could have sustained itself in this present situation if each school hadn't become tech savvy. We've had to have a very steep learning curve. A lot of our staff has had to learn quickly, but it's been amazing how we have all adapted. I don't think we can ever replace the classroom with a digital classroom, but in the present scenario, we have no choice. It is the best we can do, and it's a blessing. And the best part about this is that it's not restricted to only academics. We found there's so much stuff that you can do apart from just academics with this ed technology, that it allows you to, practically get involved with every other aspect of their lives, which one is usually involved with in school as well. Whether it's co-curriculars, whether it is outreach programs, whether it's value education, singing, art, you name it. Everything you can do online practically. And the kids are having a lot of fun. Of course, they miss school. But there's no denying that, and we are grateful that we have this technology to fall back on in the time and day and age.
Thank you, ma'am. Kiran ma'am, your views?
Yeah, thank you, Krishnaji. Thanks for giving me this chance of talking. See, technology, today we believe that there's no one on this earth who says that I do not know technology. Everyone has smartphone. literate, illiterate. And it's a good thing. We should be thankful to social media that before we started at such a pace, it was already there. We already were so familiar with technology that no one can resist, and people did not find it very difficult to adapt and adopt. It was easy, and although it came suddenly to us, I mean to schools, even a teacher who was very well experienced and who has been working in schools for past 25, 30, 40 years. Those teachers, although they found it very difficult in the beginning, but they knew how to handle the smartphones, they were familiar, they had some friendship with the technology, and that become easy for them to use it. So this was a good thing that came, and technology is a beautiful thing for education. In education, it has given a I think, new parameters to learning, I believe, because it has given the scope of self-learning, open learning, and anywhere, anytime learning. By choice, anytime you can access anything, the children can access, the teachers can send the material, and it's so easy and beautiful. And rightly said that pen paper cannot be replaced, but still, it's paperless. The best part is paperless. There are side effects also, but if you see the beauty and the importance of technology in education, it is remarkable. If you see the things like, see, if we get the data, it's so easy for the teachers to maintain the data of homework, classrooms, teaching, timetabling. It has become so easy. And there are beautiful softwares, not only hardware, the softwares are also very good, which has been, lots of agencies have worked very hard to develop those softwares, which is very useful in teaching, in education. Not only academics, as rightly said, that it is, you talk of performing arts. You can easily merge, you can plan your teaching strategies, pedagogy can be planned very well, and all-round development of a child. It has become so easy with technology, which was not so easy when we were into the physical classrooms. This virtual classroom, virtual teaching, because of technology, has become very useful, very beautiful, and very effective. I must say, a blessing.
Thank you, ma'am. Sumit sir, over to you. What your views on a role of education technology in virtual education in current scenario? Sir, I think your mic is muted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I start with T3, technology plus teacher and plus transformation. If we want transformation, we need to mingle technology in the education sector. That will create a lot of change, and already it is done. From last 50 days, I must say, in lockdown period, people are learning. There are number of web seminars and number of new technologies are evolution. So I must say that technology plays a very vital role, and in coming days, especially artificial intelligence and things like that are coming up. So in every school, in everywhere, there's a technology in in our pockets, in our home, everywhere there's a technology. If I say, like God is omnipresent, technology is omnipresent. Everywhere there's technology. Thank you.
Yeah, just because it's a need of the current scenario, that technology is present in everywhere, not in education, but in other sector also. So the next question will be, what will be the effect of virtual learning environment in physical classroom systems? Sandeepa ma'am, starting with you.
Yeah, can you repeat the question, please, once?
The question will be, what will be the effect of virtual learning environment in the physical classroom system?
This we're talking about when we'll be opening.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. The impact of this virtual classrooms is, you can say, it will be tremendous, because every time we being principal, we used to struggle a lot. Sometimes teachers were unable to complete their syllabus. Sometimes the teachers, they used to go on maternity leave, some other issues. So the syllabus used to be pending. So this time we have learned even the Sundays also, the teachers can run their classes sitting at their places, giving all the online assessments, even the checkings could be done. If we talk about the virtual learning in the classroom, definitely it is the need of the hour. the child should be learning in a class. The child should know how technology can be merged with the traditional classroom, because I've been to so many countries. Luckily, I've been to so many schools all across the world. So there I found that children are very, very, you can say in touch with the technology. They are tech savvy. The child from 4th onwards is using everything. But in our country, sometimes we have to put up those reforms where even the children has to taught how to use the technology in the rightest manner. We being parents, sometimes we being educationists, sometimes we apprehend, let's not explore that technology. But definitely in a classroom, virtual technology should be the part of traditional teaching with a proper balance. Thank you.
So that means that virtual technology will be implementing in each and every schools after that COVID-19 also.
No, we already have in our school. So
Okay.
I have it in my school. So that's why I'm just exploring the idea. I have it in my school already. Yes.
Okay. Kavita ma'am, your views on that?
I think practically every school nowadays does have it. Of course,
Yes.
one of the listeners has said, what about the rural areas? Well, in the rural areas also, thanks to, just the simple phone, technology is available on a phone as well. And therefore that can be projected even onto just a sheet, and children can see what is going on. So it's not that it's not accessible, it's accessible everywhere in the country, but maybe not to such a large extent, and people have to adapt, right? Even with our children, our EWS children, for example, who are unable to attend the e-learning classes directly, then we are using technologies such as WhatsApp and photographs and PowerPoints to communicate with our children. Now, when it comes to the classrooms, I think technology is vital. We can't now do away with it. We've learned and we've seen that technology allows our teachers to access a huge range of information which would otherwise not be available to them. And not only access that, but bring it into the classroom. So that brings the outside world into the classroom without any difficulty. Coming to creativity, I mean, if you were just thinking by yourself, there's only so much creativity within you. But if you go online, there's tons of ideas over there for every concept that you want to communicate to your children. And we know that there are multiple intelligences, there are different learning styles. So with all this available to us, we are able to bring it into the classroom, and we are able to match the learning styles and the multiple intelligences of all the children in a much greater range. And therefore, we are able to communicate much, much better with our kids than we have been able to earlier. Even the testing is becoming more fun. You can do things like have a cricket and ask questions, right, through the cricket match. It's just not something you could dream of doing earlier. So all this coming into the classroom is lending a whole new world. It's allowing us to individualize, include children who would otherwise be excluded, because the visual impact is so important in learning with children, especially the audio, the music, the kinesthetic, everything is coming into it. And it's just making a world of difference in the classroom, which I think is enhancing and adding new dimensions every time we step into that classroom.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your point of views. I would also like to invite Dr. Agustin Esek, the academic director of Kirpal Sagar Academy, Nawashahar. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the panel. So, sir, your mic on mute, sir. Yeah, please.
Yeah, is it fine? Good evening to everybody.
Evening, sir.
Happy to talk to you all today on the concluding part of this panel discussion. I'm not very sure whether I am to the point, because it looked like a question answer session, but I was asked to talk on EdTech in the virtual education. I'll briefly, maybe 2 minutes, I'll take on that and then leave you with questions.
Yes.
Our topic today is EdTech in the virtual education environment. Let me put that complex question in a very simple manner. Perhaps it is a contrast between the normal classroom and the virtual classroom which is almost nearly conducted, where the students learn from their houses. I think, put it in a simple manner, can learning take place in the virtual classroom? Let us take the facts. The learning environment is different, but the process of learning is the same. Therefore, learning can take place very effectively in the virtual best possible environment in the current situation when the world is locked down by the pandemic and schools are closed down. The best option is the virtual classroom in the houses. Why do I say they're almost equal in effectiveness? Because the best possible, the best possible situation is this. The teacher states the objectives in the virtual education classroom. And objectives are necessary if the child is compelled to focus on his learning. The teacher presents the concepts step by step. The teacher raises questions to find out whether students have understood. Both the students reflect and answer their questions. The teacher insists on articulation. Articulation is the child's ability to explain fully and completely all that he has learned. My own premise with regard to education is this. If the child can articulate completely all that he has learned, then he has mastered the subject. The school classroom has the comfort of a friendly, familiar space, a friendly teacher, and the joy of being together with friends. They make learning easier, faster, and more joyful. But the virtual classroom has everything required for complete teaching and complete learning. Fullness of knowledge, fullness of comprehension, profound ability to apply, ability to analyze, and ability to synthesize. All these opportunities are given to the students in the virtual classroom. There shouldn't be any comparison or contrast between the virtual classroom and the school classroom. The virtual classroom also aims and achieves the same objectives as the classroom in the school. Virtual classroom is the best learning place in the world. In a world that is locked out, make it a place of great learning. I wish all the teachers engaged in this process of virtual teaching, where the students sit at home and learn, the great joy of teaching and seeing that learning really takes place. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing. Again, moving with the same question to Kiran ma'am for the effect of virtual learning environment in physical classroom system. Kiran ma'am?
Yeah, yes. Krishna ji?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Technology, like, if we talk about this virus, it has come to stay. It's not going to go away so soon. So technology is going to stay forever, I believe.
Exactly.
I strongly believe the technology is not going to go away. It's going to be improved now. With the upcoming of an introduction of artificial intelligence and more of computers, more of softwares, it's going to stay forever. And it's going to be in an improved and better way. The things which are going to be improved, like technology has come to us, and now it will be, as CBSE says, there can be 100 working days which will be there in school, and there will be some part of schooling which will be from home. So home learning, stay home and learn from there. Virtual classroom plus physical classroom. It's going to be a blended learning now. It's not going to be pure physical classroom or pure virtual classroom. It has to be a blend of both the things. So technology cannot go away, and we cannot do away technology. We cannot do anything without technology, I believe. In future, we are going to use it more and more effectively in our classrooms with our students, with our teachers. And I think today the teachers feel more comfortable using it. They feel that the assessment system, if they have a test, it has become so easy. Divya was talking about Flipla and I heard her. It was such a beautiful system, such a beautiful software they prepared. And it is so open and it is so supportive that whatever you want to write down, if you want to add your notes, if you want to write your comments, if you want to add a diagram, or if a teacher wants to even add any of our own lessons, that can be uploaded in the same software and it can be forwarded to the children. Same if we were talking about my view board, like Venkatan was talking about that's a beautiful thing. A few days back I was listening to one of the programs which talked about white chalkboard, I believe. So that is again it's something very beautiful coming up, and something new is coming, and that's the strength which is being added to the teaching process. Teaching will be improving and it will be more effective. Assessments will be better. The teacher and teacher, they can store the data, they can compare it, they can do the data analysis, and it's going to be a project-based studies, I believe. Earlier, we always felt a child who's a slow learner is left behind. With this help of technology, no one can be left behind. Each and every teacher can assign a different assignment to a child as per the capabilities and the learning capabilities of a child. We can select from the class. Two of my children, they're not coping up with the same type of questions. So the teacher can select different type of questions from the test generators and she can assign it. It's not going to take much time to her. It's just a click of the button and select the things. So the mental levels can be kept in mind. The learning levels, learning outcome can be kept in mind of all the students of 30 children in a class, and we can have different types of assessment for everyone. It's not difficult. And this is very easy with the help of technology. So we should not do away with technology. Technology is a strength. It's going to strengthen up the teachers, the teaching processes, and the schools. And we as principals, we can see everything with a click of a button on our screen. We can see our timetable. We can see our department-wise reports. We can see the department-wise or the class-wise performance of the children of our school. We can compare and analyze the result of our school with different schools in the world. It is connected so well to all the schools, all the educators, all the principals, all schools, not only in India, but globally. We are globally connected now. Whatever is available in other countries is available to us also. And so we have so much of openings that we can find out, we can talk to people. Everything has become so open, and empathy has come. I believe that's a big thing which has come through because of technology. If each one is ready to help, I call up a principal immediately and we can get it. CBSE has released 25 manuals and we could get all the manuals with a click of the button. We downloaded all of them and we studied them, and it's such a great help. See how we get strengthened up. We get the material within seconds. Otherwise, we used to wait that it will be released, then it will be printed, and then it will come to us. Postage also used to take a lot of time. But now things are reaching so fast, and we can immediately contact them and see the things very well. We can use it. But that's the beauty of technology, and this is the beautiful thing that will be very helpful in our physical classrooms also. Once we go back to school, it's going to be technology by which we can be safe. Arogya Setu app. It's going to keep us safe. Technology. They're going to check the students when they enter at the gate. All those things, that is technology. You have technology at the gate, within the classrooms, in the buses, and in the assembly areas, play fields, everywhere. So technology is a it's a blessing, and it's going to stay with us, and we are going to love it and support it and promote it now more and more. Earlier there was a problem like in class 11 and 12. Children wanted to study 6 subjects or maybe 7 subjects. And then they say we want to stay in school for lesser time, lesser number of hours, main school. So the problem was one subject was less attended. Now that subject can be taken care by virtual classrooms. So there are so many benefits of technology. It has come and it will stay, and we are going to help it to stay it, and it's going to strengthen up all of us. That's my viewpoint.
Very nice thought for that topic, ma'am. Sumit sir, can I have your views on that topic? Your mic is muted, sir. And I request Sandeepa ma'am and Kiran ma'am to mute their mic.
Mhm.
I see, sir, also.
Yeah. So Kiran ma'am very clearly and very nicely explained all the positive points of virtual classes. You see, we are not going to Golden Temple these days, but virtually we are visiting there. We can't go to Jallianwala Bagh, but virtually we are visiting there. So virtual reality or virtual education give you clarity. There is difference between studies and learning, studying and learning. Studying something, just memorize. But when you are virtually there, you are a different person. You understand the things more clearly. So what I believe is virtual reality is the next 21st century assets for the students and for teachers also. Uh, we give life to the books. We have books, but they are dead. It is very difficult to retain the attention of the students for more than 10 minutes. But with the help of virtual reality, we have uh, one more source so that we can make them understand the things more clearly. So there's a point that virtual reality is very important for all the schools. So I must say that all the schools, and we are using it. So use it properly so that, and one thing more, technology is everywhere, but overdose of everything is bad. Excess of everything is bad. How to minimize the technology, that is also very important. So we need to take them to the fields. We need to take them to the rivers when the lockdown over, so that we can bring them to the nature also, close to the nature. Otherwise technology will make a other world, make robots to our kids. Thank you.
Okay, so Augustine sir, your views on effect of virtual learning environment in physical classroom system.
Yeah. I think technology is immensely effective because it has the ability, almost a miraculous ability, of magnifying truths and make it convincingly true in the intellect of the child, and makes learning very, very personal. After all, learning takes place in the mind. And when the mind is subjected to the virtual reality, the wonderful world which technology creates for the child, learning becomes sharper and stronger. Imagine the study of the cosmos. I think when you think of it in the classroom, in a lecture room, it doesn't look so glorious and so magnificent. Like technology spread out the immensity of space for the students, he will have a vision of what immensity means and eternity means. Therefore, the virtual classroom using technology is immensely useful in making learning easier, pleasanter, and happier. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question will be from Sandeepa ma'am. That what are the solution and option you are looking in any edtech product while implementing in your school for online education?
Actually, if we talk about, we already have a proper system in our school. We have tied up with Microsoft classes. Tata is already going in our school. So everything is properly synchronized in a balanced way with our traditional education system, right? So, but to a certain extent, after this, we'll try to implement more things which can really help us. Because right now, if we talk about only one corona has come, so maybe after 2 years or 3 years, so is a big threat. We might again see a virus comes and we'll be again locked in the houses. So there we definitely is a big challenge just to revive ourselves. So we are really exploring. My team, my management, we all are exploring how we can bring more things in our school, just where the children can. Because right now, if we talk about during this COVID-19, children were at their places, so they were having a lot of issues. So they were feeling anxiety, they were feeling anxious, they were locked down. Parents were really giving them a pressure not to go out, not to touch, not to meet strangers. So there, with the technology itself, we started so many beautiful programs where all our children, we arrange their modeling, we arrange their Baisakhi celebrations. So we involved them, right? So the technology really brought a smile on their faces. And somewhere parents also come forward. The mothers also decked up with the child in the same manner. So they cleared their drawing room and the mother was doing a ramp walk on the stage with the child. So that was all the blessings of the technology. So technology, you see, it is now in our blood. So we are there. We'll be more focused. We'll again plan, because this time Corona didn't give us time. It just came like that. Even when it was happening in China, we didn't feel, this could be the one. Even we'll be also with the we'll be the victim of that Corona. But now we are well prepared. We'll bring more things. We'll just introspect the things. Whatever the changes supposed to be confirmed in our school, we'll take it. And I think we'll prepare ourselves properly to compete the world, to bring smiles on our children's face, to our parents. So that I assure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Kavita ma'am, I have a question for you, that how would be the new scope of assessment examination in e-learning framed in an effective manner? So how can the school can do the assessment and all the things within online?
There are plenty of different ways to do it. You can either do objective, which allows you to just mark yes or no, and those are for quick question answers which you want to do with your children in a revision kind of a mode, or if you want to check in how much detail they know their text. So it allows them to have many options on those fronts. On the other side, if you want to look at subjective marking, where children have to write and continue with their ability to express themselves and not simply tick mark a yes or a no, there is that facility also. There are free facilities, there are paid facilities. It depends on what your school is looking for, what your school can afford. But it is extremely now accessible to us. And so we have been able to conduct full, objective as well as subjective evaluations with our children. Of course, it means training everybody. So first getting the staff on board, doing a whole training session with them, then having mock evaluations with the children so that the parents could assist them initially, get them into the hang of things. You can't throw children in to the deep end and let them drown over there. So, it takes a little while to adapt. You give them time to try it out with different subjects so they get comfortable. And then once everything is put into place, the evaluation system becomes easy. So now, at present, of course, everything is purely online. But once we are back in school, then we now have an option of an actual pen and paper test. And if we want to go into a huge conservation exercise and a mode of environmental consciousness, then we can move into this mode more and use it so that our children then can operate on this level as well. It also means kids who are not in school can participate in evaluations now, because they just have to go online. Even if they are in bed, they can go online and they can join in, whether it is teaching or whether it is evaluation. Teachers this way are able to take corrections and do them at home without having to carry huge bundles of notebooks back and forth and strain their backs carrying them. So a lot of advantages to it. And once we're, like I said, we're back in the classroom, then we can choose whatever we like and what we are comfortable with. The opportunity is there for everybody.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I have one question for you. That how are you monitoring the interaction of the students in online education system? You're on mute, ma'am. Kiran, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
You are talking about how we are
Monitoring the interaction of the school students in education system.
in the virtual classrooms. We have like class-wise teachers. They give the assignments or they send teaching material, and they have a timetable. The timetable is there, and the timetable is the record of the timetable is in Excel sheets. They're working in Excel, and they are all maintaining the records of everything. Whatever is being sent to the children, that is being recorded. The teachers, when they get back the assessment or the assignment or the projects, or if there is any activity within the classroom or competitions are there, that is also recorded. And it is so easy with this technology that they do not need to make those big lists. They are not supposed to make the mark list and the list of the marks or the papers or to fill in the registers and all, as ma'am said quite rightly, that yes, everything is already there. They can maintain the records, and coordinators, they monitor the class teachers send it to the groups and to the coordinators send it further to HODs, and HODs send it to the principal. So we know what is happening, and all things are recorded. Then, the children are very, as if you remember, CBSE did a project, pilot project program of checking the answer sheets online. It was done long back, and now it has come. See, this everything they thought it so at that time, and then they did away with this. But now it is a compulsion. Children are sending the assessments or projects or assignments through cam scanners, or they click a photograph and then they send it, and it becomes so easy for the teachers. It's not only objective type questions. Everything is being checked. Everything, subjective, objective, diagrams, all reports are there, and it is beautifully checked by everyone. Everyone can check it, and it is so easy. Record keeping is good. Paperless record keeping is there, and checking is very beautifully done. It's easy, though it is time consuming. Again, if the teachers would have been going to school, then also it's time consuming. Similar time, or I believe lesser time, because there are softwares to check the answers. Even if the answers are similar, then also at least 70% of the answer is correct, and it can be assessed and checked very well with the help of different softwares. So different softwares are there which are being applied through artificial intelligence. They are being checked, and it is being done beautiful. It has become easy with the help of technology. So we are using different types of softwares to do that.
Okay, with the same question, I'm moving with the Sumit sir. Sumit sir, your views on how you monitoring the interaction of the students in online education system at your schools. Again, you are unmuted, sir.
Krishna, there is one question coming up. If you can allow me to answer that question, it's coming in the questions.
Yes, ma'am. Which one?
There is one question. Any awareness program run by schools to gain the parents' trust? Many schools want to know about it. Can I answer this question?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. See, first and foremost, we three people are working together. A parent, a child, and a teacher. When I say teacher, I mean principal also. And that's a part of school. So we can say school, a child, and a teacher. We all work in a team. And if one part or one loop of a chain is missing, then it's not easy to implement anything. So parents' trust is the foremost thing. What we do virtual interaction with the parents. When we started with this virtual teaching, the first thing was to talk to the parents. The teachers, they explained everything to the parents. They had, that time they were talking on phone, and then we had a meeting with the parents, virtual meeting, like this webinar is going on. We had interactions with the parents. We had interactions, we called up the parents, we invited the parents to speak and share their views, to speak their worries, why they are worried about it. Like screen time will increase, the children are sitting all the time. All these things were discussed at length. We discussed everything, and finally we came to the conclusion that yes, what best solution can be there. So we must hear from the parents. Let's listen from the parents only. What do they want in this type of scene? What is the best solution? Which can be provided? Because we cannot be away from teaching. Teaching learning has to happen. So parents has to consent that yes, this is the best solution and let's do it. And this is only communication is the best way to gain the trust of the parents. So I suggest to all the principals and schools that do some meetings, some virtual meetings with the parents, maybe in smaller groups, maybe class-wise, section-wise, anyways, wherever you feel confident, or virtual tours of their houses. Give them a call, give them a video call, and tell them, introduce me to your family. Let's see who has what expertise. Pool in the expertise of parents. Invite them, because now it's not only your school teacher who is a teacher. A child is a teacher, a parent is a teacher, a grandmother is a teacher, everyone is a teacher. So use them, invite them, they'll feel very happy and they'll gain confidence in you and you will feel better working with them. Thank you, Krishna, giving me this opportunity for answering this question.
Thank you, ma'am. So, Mr. With the same question that I'm moving on with the previously, how we are monitoring the interaction.
Ma'am, you talk about screen time. Screen time. How we can define people that what is the screen time? I must say there are two parts of screen time. One is pastime and one is learning time. When students or when child is sitting with PUBG, when child is sitting with Clash of Clans, social media, that is pastime, and we need to cut that, because in COVID there is no other option of learning through virtual classes, through Zoom classes. But parents are adamant that virtual classes are have a stain on their eyes. But I must say that in 24 hours, most of the time they are playing, they are not studying, they are not doing anything else. So we should convince them that pastime and learning time is separate. Both are the separate things. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Is anyone wanted to add on the same topic?
Excuse me?
Yes, ma'am.
In these days, basically parents, to a certain extent, they when they are allowing the child to use for the mobile for study purpose, at that time itself, so the mobile is away from a parent or a mother parent, right? So that is also a big challenge, because we are so addicted to these mobiles and this technology. So the parents they can't stay away from the mobile. So due to that also, in my school, I found few of the parents, so they had that issue. So we make them understand that no, if your child is on the virtual classroom, he needs that mobile. So if you can make compromise, you can wait for some time. So this is also a big challenge, because the parent doesn't want to give the mobile to the child also for a longer hours. So this is also happening somewhere.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Kavita ma'am, would like to add on the topic? So that is there any awareness program run by your school to gain the parents' trust, and is there any communications system that you follow?
Very definitely. We're using all different kinds because I have a mixed bag of children in my school. So when it comes to the children who do have technology, then we are using the video lessons. We're talking online to them, direct e-classes, we're emailing. For those who, we're also backing it up with sending out PowerPoints which have an explanation of the lesson in them. So if a child has missed a class, then he can go there and he can look it up and he can understand from there and revise from there. For children who don't even have that, we're using, like I said, WhatsApp to send pictures to them of everything. We're actually sending full PowerPoints and all on WhatsApp to my EWS children. So that, and then there's a simple thing called the mobile phone. That's also technology. That's very important for the human part of it. We need to keep in touch with our children. They are people. We can't afford to forget that. So we do constantly, especially the children who we know, like ma'am had said earlier, some children are terribly stressed out. Some children are CWS and kids. Some children are in the lockdown areas and are under a lot of stress as well. So these are the kids whom the counselors and we keep talking to directly on a daily basis to, so that we can help alleviate their problems and we are able to meet the challenges. Some of them don't even have provisions. So I must thank the administration in my city who one phone call is all taken, provisions reaches their homes. I mean, these are basic things which we also need to look at for children. It's not only this is how can a child study if he's hungry, right? So these basic things have to be looked at. And then there's the side of compassion and values, which are very important. So we use technology in the sense of like, we had thanked the COVID warriors, okay? So kids went out, they made posters, thanked people, they took photographs and sent it and we put it on our website. Then we started acts of kindness after that. So any child who is doing anything good, whether it's feeding animals, looking after the environment, helping out people, going to gurdwaras and working with people, they're sending in photographs and putting it up. So you see, education is not only academics, there's so much more to it. And we have to try and fill in all those blanks at this time when we are dealing with children. It's very important. If we simply restrict it to academics, children are going to get bored. But they need to know there's more out there happening with them as people. And we're acknowledging that for them. We're trying to build these other areas of their lives, which will help them to grow into good human beings as well. Because I feel that's a very important part of education. So similarly, in the lessons which we do, we build in rights and duties, right? Of course, so that they are seeing that academics is not in a vacuum. Academics has an application in daily life. And everything I learn has some kind of relationship with everything around me. Only if I can get, and this is where technology is fabulous for creating that. As Dr. Isaac had said, you know, you can see the vastness of the universe. You can reach out and experience a jungle and understand what animals are all about. All this is helping us to make better people out of our children. And that is very important as far as education is concerned. And the use of technology.
Thank you, ma'am. Augustine sir, with the same question, what your point of view that how you are awaiting your parents for that online education program? Sir, your mic is on mute, sir. Yes, please.
There is real evidence of students being stressed and parents worried about their future. And therefore, we have a program in which several of our teachers in a group contact the parents on a daily basis, talk to them, and see that their worries are removed. And students are also counseled individually if they have any problem. Considering the panic that is created by the pandemic, I think we have also initiated a program of counseling, which is based on most modern ways of looking at children's problems and trying to help any child who has a problem. Both ways, almost every week, we send out a message which is comforting and in some way healing the parents, both in English and a translation in the mother tongue. So this is what we do for the parents and the children. There is no child who doesn't get a counseling when he is required. There is no parent who doesn't really receive some kind of suggestion as to how to solve the problems that they face with regard to children closed up in their house. They have also worried about this virtual classrooms. It is not comfortable for everybody because some houses may be very spacious, but some houses may not be. But there are problems of children being confined to their rooms. Children really require space to play and to rejoice and to dance and to sing, which they are not able to get at the moment. We try to counsel those children directly. We keep the phone numbers of every family and the phone numbers of students also. We talk to them on a regular basis, and uh, very well constructed letters are sent to the parents so that their worries are also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. In a session, we can just answer them one by one, starting with Kavita ma'am. That for the student, how much use of online education is effective?
We have to strike a balance between what they need and overkill.
Exactly.
We have to also strike a balance between pure academics and other parts of education. If we can do this, then education will become fun for children. No doubt they are very addicted to their phones and they are looking at screens a lot, but it's very different to sitting down with a teacher is talking to you. You have to sit formally and you have to behave, and you can't sort of just stop and do what you feel like. You're not lounging on your bed and, playing on your phone. It's a totally different scenario when it's a class being conducted. So children, yes, are under more stress when it comes to this. And we need to look at it and we need to understand that this balance has to be struck. This is part of the trust built with children and with parents. When parents are giving us feedback, we're taking it seriously. We're looking at what needs to be done. Because if you, like was said, if you don't have trust of parents, they aren't going to really sit with their children over there. Parents are taking time out. They're making sure their kids are attending. We need to respect that. We also need to respect the fact that parents are now going back to work. And it's becoming tougher for them to be able to monitor their kids when, they are doing the. So we also have to have flexible timings. We have to look at the needs of parents as far as this is concerned. We have to plan our evaluations accordingly. We have to give our kids activities which will keep them occupied and help our parents while our parents are out, so that their children are gainfully employed in something. This will come into looking at technology right now when children are in the home and are not able to come to school. And we see on form of communication with them, right? So getting into group activities, working out creative ways of getting them engaged, and all this will come into it.
Thank you, ma'am. For the time, since the time is very few left, I would like to have a closing remark from each and every panelist, starting with Kiran ma'am. Kiran ma'am, can you give us a closing remark within 2 minutes of time?
Krishna, I must say the technology, as I said earlier, also is going to stay with us. So we need to have confidence. Even our parents need to have confidence. With a simple sentence, you can gain the confidence of the parents that main hu na. You must say, as the principal, you must take the responsibility of everything. Say that yes, when I am there, nothing can go wrong. Nothing can happen to a child. Nothing wrong content can be sent to a child, and child will not fall prey to anything which is not required. This much confidence as a principal, as a teachers, everyone has to do, has to say that, and must convince the parents that technology is very good, it's very helpful, and we are going to learn in a better way. Rote learning has to go because of technology. Rote learning will go. And as Sumit said, virtual tours. If we want to take a child to a tour, before that place, we can show them virtually the Golden Temple or anything. And then if you take them to that physical part and take a physical tour of that place, you will love it. It's going to enhance the life. It's going to make things more interesting, and children will be more interested in learning and doing the things in better ways. So these are certain things which we need to improve upon. And with technology, with the blend of technology in our schools, we are going to be more confident and better teacher, and students are going to be better learners. And I'm sure parents will also have more confidence in schools because they'll be more connected now. They are more connected and they'll stay more connected, and this is going to make things better. Like virtual assemblies also, I can give one example. We do virtual assembly every Monday and Thursday, where we invite all the parents. See, in schools, you cannot invite parents to the assembly every day. You have some guest speakers, one speaker or two speakers. Now we are inviting the parents together, come on the same platform, and we do assemblies. So this is a Parents gain confidence from this. The prayer, they're singing the Gayatri Mantra, they're listening to the thoughts, news updates, children singing songs and children lectures, and ex-students also we are inviting to this, and we are inviting parents also to speak. It's a beautiful thing. To see the beauty of technology, we must promote these things. Whatever has come to us, maybe COVID has given us it to us forcefully, but now it is a beautiful thing. We must appreciate that. Thank God, whosoever designed and brought out technology, that's a beautiful thing that has happened. And one more thing I want to add, the screen time, like, if we see the concentration part, if psychologists talk about it, I was listening to Professor Ravindran, and he said at least the class should be of 1 hour in continuity. In physical classroom, we have 30 minutes, 40 minutes period. But on a virtual classroom, it has to be 1 hour, at least 1 hour of teaching. And I mean, teaching can be 30 minutes or 40 minutes, but then interaction can be there. And then a gap should be there. There should be some rest, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then next lecture can start. So this also I wanted to add on. With this, I think technology is a beautiful thing. Technology in education is a good thing. It's a good support that we have got, maybe by accident, but it's a blessing. It's going to be a blessing also.
Thank you, Kiran ma'am. Sumit sir, your remark on that.
One thing I want to add that we can blend the technology with the social services also, like we are doing in the COVID. Today is 31st May and today is Tobacco Day, World Tobacco Day. And I'm not guiding anybody. I'm not guiding any teacher or a student, but they are keep on sending the posts that they are doing drama, they are doing poetry, they are writing some good messages against the tobacco. So we need to just give the direction. Speed is not important. Direction is important. And teachers are giving the direction. And we are lucky that we have passionate teachers. All over India, we are Jagat Guru. We are considered as Jagat Guru. And today we are doing the same thing. We are taking people from confusion to clarity. And heads off to all the teachers community. Salute to all teachers, all school leaders, that they are doing remarkable, fantabulous job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sumit sir. Augustine sir, your closing remark on that topic.
I think in the 1980s, we had a book by Alvin Toffler, Future Shock. And Future Shock was all about a future world guided by technology. I think the best thing should be a combination of the use of technology and the teacher assisting every student to become the best self that he can be. I think technology holds the future of the world. I think technology will shape the world, be a beautiful place for all to live, and for all students to learn. Our students will benefit from it, and the world will be a better place as a result of the technology that we have developed. Teachers' personality should not be underestimated, because teacher affects eternity. That is what our B.Ed classes taught us, and that is really true also. Teacher should have tremendous impact on the complete development of the child. Technology and teacher should combine to produce a wonderful world for all of us. When COVID is a story or a myth in the myth of the past, and we will have conquered the world and built a better world, we will be happy. We will celebrate both technology and teaching. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sandeepa ma'am, your closing remark on that topic.
I would like to close on the note, as technology is a part of our life, it will remain part of our life. But to a certain extent, we are supposed to train our teachers as well as especially the parents who have also become the stakeholders, because it took a lot of time for us to train our parents to know about the technology. So that was a really difficult time when my teachers were struggling a lot to train those parents. So I think in our school, even all the schools, we should organize that kind of a seminars where we can train all our parents, especially the parents who come from, you can say, semi-urban areas, they come from the rural areas, who doesn't know much about the technology. But trust me, they were keen to learn. They really help their children. So this is really more important. Everyone who will be the part of the school, the stakeholder, parents, teacher, principal, management, even the class 4 employees, everyone should know about the technology. And I personally believe technology is a boon. Like, so the coming generations will definitely take this technology to another level. So my heartiest congratulations to all of us as we shared some valuable time. So we stay in touch, and especially the principals who have come on this platform. Maybe I think that is also idea really going in my mind. We can always just have this kind of virtual panels where we can learn from each other. Even our teachers, like maybe ma'am sitting in Chandigarh or maybe in any of the areas, we can make a group where you can just give some guidelines to the teacher. So this beautiful program has also come out of this COVID-19, where we introspect mindset and positivity in ourselves, and we loved ourselves. That is also the best thing. I have really relocated myself. My life was somewhere. So in this time, 50 days, I learned some music. I start singing certain things which they were in my age, like I was 16, 17 years old. So I try to introspect myself. So I think we should take it very positively and take the word ahead. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you, Sandeepa ma'am. Now we move into the Kavita ma'am for the final closing remark. Kavita ma'am, please.
I only want to say that, yes, technology is a boon, but never let it lose the human factor. We can't become robots. We can't become automatons. We have to teach our children. We have to make learning fun. We have to make it creative, interactive. Have plenty of brain breaks. Have fun with your kids. Take your children and your teachers and your parents along with you. Attend to every child's needs, not just to the majority. Child has to be a part of it. If you can make it inclusive in every way, and that's a wonder of technology, is that it can be made inclusive. So let's do it. Let's make the world a place with what we have at our command, and which is improving every day. I think it's a miracle God has given us, and we should use it to the best of our abilities to help our children and our parents grow and become wonderful people, and to grow ourselves as human beings.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. For this, I would like to close the session. To also thank you all the panelists to share their views and making this panelist successful. Before moving on, I would like to introduce our digital version of magazine. I'll just
I think we should clap for it. Congratulations. Team Digital.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
Thank you.
Very good idea.
Sir, one last line. पतझड़ का मतलब तो फिर बसंत आना है. पतझड़ का मतलब तो फिर बसंत आना है. So all teachers are smiling, all principals or school leaders are smiling that we are ready. Whatever is happening, no problem. We are ready.
I would like to complete, like पतझड़ का मौसम फिर आना है. हमने ऐसे हंसते खेलते जीते जाना है.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
One quotation from Dostoevsky.
Yeah, please, sir.
Earth is a paradise. And if we believed in it, the world would be a paradise tomorrow. Let's believe in that and create a paradise for our children and for our parents.
Yes.
Thank you. Here is that. So thank you. I'd like to thank you all my panelists to join the session. Namaste.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.